Good afternoon, Team Vodacom. It is Thursday. So in South Africa, we say it's Pooza Thursday, right? So only two more sleeps before the amazing weekend is upon us. Good afternoon, guys. Thank you for joining us today for this Fix Up Forum. Well, today being the 16th of September, do you know that it actually is International Guacamole Day? Yep, that Mexican dip dish that you could actually use maybe with chips or with nachos or whatever it is that you like it with. Today is the day we celebrate this dish. So when you're making dinner tonight, or maybe your late lunch, try and make this dish and incorporate it in your food. Well, a big good afternoon, guys. Such an amazing time we're going to have today. We have got William, the Chief Officer from Vodacom Business, and then we've got Elton, who'll be handling our panel discussion a little bit later with some of our Vodacom Business individuals. So today is really about, Vodacom Business's commitment to the moments that matter. They made a pledge to so that they'd be attuned to, deliberate about, and be unwavering in addressing every customer issue that Vodacom Business encounters. So today, I really want to thank you for honoring, this invite and joining us as Vodacom Business goes ahead and speaks candidly about how the fixed and IoT billing process caused tremendous stress and dissatisfaction for our customers. So we'll unpack this and how we actually went about to fix it. But before we get there, let me show you just a little bit on how to get around the platform. So as you can see here, I'm also logged in. So you can log in on your tablet, you can log in on your laptop, you could also log in on your cell phone. All right. So you'll see on the right-hand side of the screen, that's where you can communicate with us. So you can go ahead and join our conversation, which I'm going to join right now on the right-hand side. And then you can see, Afzal says, love the intro. So cool. I see Mapefu there saying amazing introduction. Done well. Then Mzotule says, great music indeed at the background as an intro. So continue sharing your thoughts right here and let me know. I want to know, what is your favorite meal that you could actually enjoy with a guacamole dip? Share with me right here on the chat. So what would you enjoy with it? Maybe samosa, dip your samosa in the guacamole, or maybe Lay's chips and dip it in there, or maybe you prefer to go totally Spanish and do nachos and dip them in there. Let me know what is your favorite dish that goes with guacamole. But now that we're here, guys, we also can take through your questions. Or right here on the right-hand side, you'll just need to come out of the chat section and then scroll a little bit down, and then you'll see there it says ask your questions or make a comment here. And then that's where you can just enter there and then enter your question there and send it through, and then we will address it to the panel a little bit later. But I hope that you guys are ready. Let me know which region is connecting. Are we in Polokwane? Are we in Cape Town? Is everybody connected today? Well, if you are, let me know where you are connecting from so we can give you your proper greeting. But I know my people in Polokwane have connected, so I will say Nda to you, Imran, and your team in Polokwane. But you know what? Let's get the show on the road. I'm sure you're here to see what the customer issue is and what we did to really fix it and really create a system to make sure that it doesn't happen again. So to help me discuss this and start it off, please help me welcome, well, I know him as one of the most stylish chief officers that Vodacom has ever had, but I'm sure you just know him as the chief officer for Vodacom Business. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Mr. William Mzimba. Hi, William.
Hello, Lebo. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, William. William, I thought of it, going ahead and wearing maybe a vest or a short sleeve to look summery like you. You look very spring.
I am ushering spring. It seems to be refusing to come. We're almost halfway September. We haven't had the spring rain, and we're still having lots of July, August kind of wind and dust. So I thought I will wear my floral shirt today. Maybe I'll see more blooms and the rain will come, and then everything will be onky-dory.
Well, I'm going to believe the phrase that says good things come to those who wait. So we'll wait for the spring weather to join us. But you know what, William? I love the fact that it will find us already in our spring regalia. But
That's
today,
right.
William, we are here to speak about the Fix Up Forum. We've already had one with George Mendes on CBU and with Taki regarding external affairs. Today, the focus is on Vodacom Business and what the issue was with the customer and how we're going to resolve it. But I'd like to give you a few words just to maybe give us a summary of what the situation is and what we will be talking about going forward. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome once again, William Mzimba.
Thank you, Lebo. And I think the title Mood Engineer really definitely suits you well, because you have already improved my mood, certainly. And I'm hoping that all the Vodacomers in the Vodasphere's mood have already improved just with the introductory words, the music, and just you setting the scene for us. So I am not going to spoil the fun by telling you upfront what we have in store for you, because I think Pearl has cooked a marvelous dish for all of you to enjoy. We're going to share with you what we've been fixing up in the period prior to today, and some of the things that we committed to doing all the time in terms of just bringing about that moment that matters to our people. And as you remember the pledge that we shared with you, we said the moments that matter needs to become the catalytic force for igniting a movement towards the deliberate quest to exceed our customers' expectation. And there are very important words in this statement. First is catalytic force, and second, it's about igniting a movement. And there is also deliberate in the words that we have written, and we're ending up with the word exceed customers' expectations. So I want to share with you, books I'm reading and some of the things I'm picking out of what I am reading today. The first one is Hit Refresh, Satya Nadella. As you would know, he is the third CEO of Microsoft. He's come to fill in really some big shoes of people that have come before him, found Microsoft as a behemoth and really a company that over the years had really defined how people interacted with computers. And in the early 2000s, really became the changing force to getting a computer in everyone's home or in everyone's office. However, Microsoft had become so lethargic and so product focused, and that it missed completely the evolution of the internet and the cloud, and completely focused on product and forgot about customer. And when he was appointed by the board, he was faced with this very successful company that is in the past and still being successful, but that was facing huge headwinds in terms of all the disruption that was happening around it, having really missed the internet wave completely. Secondly, having missed the mobile wave completely, and just about to miss the cloud wave. And he set on a course to galvanize the entire Microsoft by not rebooting Microsoft. And reboot is a very hard start, as you can imagine. Control-Alt-Delete forces everything that you've had, if you haven't saved, to disappear. Instead, he thought, there are so many good things in Microsoft, great customers, great engineers, great product. How can I refresh? Just as you will hit refresh on your web browser, you will still have the content that you were looking at, but new content will emerge, and you will be reading the most recent stuff on your browser. So he set on to hit refresh, and his very first focus was on customer. And so I'm sharing with you this analogy because as I read this book, I find it so relevant to where we are as Vodacom. At this moment, we are hitting refresh when it comes to customer and customer experience. And we want to galvanize all of you as Vodacomers in the Vodasphere to join in this movement, this catalytic movement that we are igniting and hitting refresh. And as we do it, I want to leave you with one word that permeates across the Hit Refresh book that Satya has written: empathy. To be empathetic to our customer, to our colleagues, to everyone else that we work with, as we galvanize the force behind this refresh that we are doing. Second point I want to leave you with is Jeff Bezos. In the book Bezonomics, he talks about being resourcefulness, and of course how he has built behemoth of organizations and embedded big data, machine learning, and artificial intelligence into the business and algorithms, to the extent that his businesses have become the algorithms, and the algorithms are now really driving the growth of the Amazon entities that he started. However, one key word that themes the entire book is resourcefulness. He says in everything that he has done, and in every manager or leader he has hired, and people that have become very successful in his business, are those people that were very resourceful. And as we move into this era of hitting refresh, I find these two words, empathy and resourcefulness, being so relevant to us, because one, we are not going to have all the resources we need to solve in this quest to galvanize everyone into the moment of truth movement. Therefore, we are going to have to be super creative and very resourcefulness in solving for our customers in a very empathetic way, understanding that at the moment they would like to be engaging with us, fundamentally they have an issue where their businesses are stuck, or they are unable to communicate with their loved ones, and at times in very critical situations. So as you sit back and you relax and you hear what we have been doing in Vodacom Business, surely you are going to see how empathetic we've been to the customer issue that is being addressed today. And secondly, you will be able to hear how resourceful the team in Vodacom Business has been out of no fullness of digital IT systems, processes. However, we have, with what we got, been able to create very meaningful processes that have solved for our customer. So with those few words, let's hit refresh with a lot of empathy, being resourcefulness, and there is a video that is going to anchor this message of our moments that matter right now. Enjoy.
Our customers tell us what they think of their Vodacom experience through various channels: Net Promoter Score, or NPS, Touchpoint NPS, also known as TNPS, and social media.
When customers speak, we listen. So we implemented Moments That Matter movement across Vodacom to tackle the things our customers are saying we aren't getting right, and maintain and improve on what they already love about us.
Our customer promise enablers, managed by our moment creators, focus on the head and hand elements like network reliability, value, and operations.
Our service standards and behaviors managed by our moment champions focus on heart and hand element like keeping our promise, owning the customer, and getting it right first time every time.
To help us implement our service standards and behaviors, we have created one of its kind Moment That Matters app.
For the first time in our history, every Vodacomer, whether internal or outsourced business partner, will access the same platform, the same message, at exactly the same time.
But we need you to make the app come to life.
Every 2 weeks, your Moments champion will share a behavior related to our service standards with you. Your job is to understand and live these behaviors every day.
And to help make these behaviors stick, your leader will conduct regular stand-ups where you can reflect on what went well and what didn't go so well.
You can also share the barriers preventing you from living these behaviors with your peers and brainstorm how to overcome them.
Leaders in the organization will also conduct an observation checklist to ensure that you are making a difference by living the behaviors.
You will also be required to complete knowledge checks along the way, simply to help you track what you have learned about our service standards as well as behaviors.
We've created a discussion forum on the app so you can share your ideas and chat to your colleagues on how you are progressing in living the behaviors.
We know Vodacomers love celebrating each other, so you will have the opportunity to celebrate your colleagues on the app when you see them living the behaviors.
There are also weekly challenges for you to complete to help you stay on top of your game.
As you complete activities on the app, you'll receive points on the leaderboard. And should you power your way to the top of the leaderboard, you will be rewarded on a weekly or monthly basis.
And that's not all. The Vodacomer that finds themselves at the top of the leaderboard at the end of February 2022 will win big.
So use the referral functionality on the app to invite your colleagues to join the Moments That Matters movement to earn even more points.
We can only make a difference when we all work together. So keep an eye on your dashboard and open those notifications to guide you on what you should do next.
Let's start a movement. Let's create moments that matter. Let's go further together.
Let's start a movement. Let's go further together. Oh man, the lovely videos from all our colleagues. You know, I haven't seen some of you in like a year or two, like Bernesti, Gugu, all of you guys. Wow, wonderful message. And really, you know, knocking the nail in to say we are all in this together. This Moments That Matter is an initiative and a campaign for all of us, and it's going nowhere soon. Yeah. So there's some comments coming here. I saw the mayor says, looking good, team. And then Eleni says, hashtag Moments That Matter. And then we've got Roshanti saying, go Penesti. See, Penesti, you already have fans now. You're taking some of my fans. Roshanti, now you need to write Go Label. Thanks. And then we've got Headley Goliath say, Awele Rato. And then Laika, speaking about what William has spoken about, says, this is super important. When you are resourceful, you can think out of the box and you are able to find ways to address customer needs. So please keep sharing your thoughts here. And then when I asked you guys as to where you're connecting from, quite a lot of you, came through. We've got Dumza who says he's in Gauteng, hashtag home. We've got Ellen who says he's in Midrand. And we've also got some people that are actually in the Vodacom building. We've got Jeffrey Going says he's in the Vodacom dome. We've got Hupulang who says Midrand in the house. And then Satoshi all the way in the mother city in Cape Town. And Alonka Faniker all the way in Pretoria. Keep sending through your chats, guys. We're really looking forward to hear from you. And now we're going to get into the actual, heart of the matter. And this is where we really need you guys to come through with the discussion, ask your questions, give us your recommendations, and let us know what you thought of the situation and what you think we can obviously do to make it even better. And to handle this part of the section, I would like to call on Elton Jenica, who is the Global Service Manager Team Lead. He will be calling on a few of his colleagues to actually go through on the panel and discuss certain important stuff regarding this matter right here. So Vodacom, please give a virtual round of applause for Elton Jenica.
Thanks so much, Lebu. All right, so I just want to echo the words that William said. Didn't you think that was interesting? So he basically said, ignite a movement to exceed our customers' expectation. And that's exactly what we're going to be doing today, right? So I can't wait.
Definitely.
into it. Yeah,
No,
absolutely.
definitely. I think, Elton, you and I have been here at Vodacom for a while, knowing how much the customer is at the heart of everything that matters for us. And today, it's really interesting because we always think of Vodacom Business as just servicing another building. You know, we never actually think that there's a human within that building that is just like an individual customer that needs to be treated with respect and that needs to be given all the wonderful things we give to an individual customer. So we're really interested, Elton. Let me take no more time. Please take it away.
Thank you so much, Lebo. Okay, talking about these individuals, just in a few minutes, I will introduce the panel, but I just want to comment quickly and talk about our sales community. I know that our sales community is always at the forefront of ensuring that we sell the best possible products and services through to our customers. Sometimes when we sell these products and services, if it's off the shelf, we absolutely kill it and we nail it and we make sure that we delight our customer and equally make sure that whatever solution that we sold to that customer is fit for purpose. However, sometimes it does not go as planned. Sometimes the customer has a request that's simply just outrageous, or alternatively, that is so bespoke that we need to start running around and making sure that we can sort of knit and weave a product or a solution for those specific customers. And there are people that do that, and that's our sales community. So I'd like to first introduce through to the panel, I'd like to introduce Prentha Pillay. And I'd also like to introduce Ziyanda Kivit and also Leanne Martin. Right, so these individuals, specifically with Prentha Pillay, Prentha, if I can just stay with you for a bit, yeah?
Sure.
So Prentha is the account manager for AECI, and I would like Prentha just to give us a quick overview in terms of what product that we sold to the specific customer, number one. And number two, why was it so bespoke and sort of the first to pilot in country? Can you share with us what that experience was like for you, Prentha?
Sure, Elton. Good afternoon, everybody. And thank you for the platform. So we responded to an RFP from AECI in 2019. And the customer-specific solution, we didn't have. The customer asked in the RFP was a single vendor strategy, a consistent SLA, multi-country, and centralized billing, all right? We, in turn, responded by saying, and that's the Vodafone mantra, that we will give them the single vendor strategy, we'll give them the one for platform, we'll also give them the one bill, right? I think we went out on a limb there. This was then approved by EDF as a non-standard product, okay? So SD-WAN Viptela, we embarked on this journey in 2019. Up to this date, it is still not productized in our basket of products. So, which didn't hamper us going ahead and selling the solution, right? It's the whole point of, and I must mention at this juncture that we were the underdog in the RFP. You know, IS language was used in the RFP. BCX was part of the incumbent. And when we entered into this RFP, we entered, we changed the game in the RFP. They asked for MPLS. And with the help of, and I'd like to name them, Naval Siulal, Eugene Peters, Colin Subramanian, and Peter Suppert, we changed the whole spec of the RFP, showing what we can do. And we then embarked on a very difficult journey of 5 BAFOs and a LAFO. And we were successful.
Right.
Okay.
So, Prentha, that sounds excellent. So tell me, even though we were successful, kudos to the team, and it looks like a lot of individuals were behind you, supporting you. The question I have, though, is, so what went wrong?
Well, per se, nothing went wrong, Elton, right? The journey was very frustrating, but very fulfilling at the same time, right? And we're in the 3rd year of implementation. So we weren't ready as a business, all right? We sold before our time, but also bear in mind, in the Gartner quadrant, we are number 1 in respect of connectivity and SD-WAN connectivity. So we couldn't let that quadrant down as well. So we went ahead and we tried to implement. And let me
Right.
tell you, at this juncture, it was very frustrating because it was first additional business services, and then it was business connect, and then it was you marry this product with that product, and you'll try and get a solution. But
Right.
unfortunately, 6 months down the line, we couldn't get the systems to read the solution,
Got it.
right? We lost time with the implementation, and no fault of PMO, right? We were all on a learning curve. So Fatima from Products, the ME, sat down with us. We had a number of MEs, and I love the collaboration because what we had to do was come up with a plan, right? Because we had made a promise. And an RFP, you don't go back on, it's a legal document, right? So with the collaboration of my ex-ME in Kululeko, who's no longer with us, and Shali Tilakan, right? We went ahead and we collaborated within the company with such acumen and smartness. Linda Morgan, Mohammed Badat, I mean, you know, these were saviors at this time. And we implemented. We were late. We paid a little bit of a penalty, but we were late. You know, we were grossly late. And then, you know, AECI, very good relationship with all of them. But if you're late, you're late. We were slapped with a penalty. And we had to come back to the drawing board and make that P&L look good again. And the likes of Zaida Kaji and her team helped tremendously. We got an extra year on the contract. So we said, we'll pay you the penalty, but give me another year. And that rode very well because we increased the look and feel of our P&L, and we got back to where we wanted on a profitable margin, you know.
Awesome.
And you know, I don't want to go through the rest of the story, but does that suffice to what you asked me?
I'm happy with that. I like the fact that you mentioned everybody sort of all hands on deck, right? And you mentioned quite a few individuals that came through. So well done to yourself and the team. So you spoke a bit about the sales cycle. You spoke a little bit about the build in terms of not productized, etc. But can we talk a little bit about run? So what's the current state of the account at this point in time?
We have implemented the RFP. We have implemented the GAN that was awarded to us. So the GAN that was awarded to us, marginally plus minus, you know, I don't want to quote figures, but we've doubled that figure now, more than double the figure of the original GAN. So we've implemented the whole GAN, and I mustn't leave VBA out of this conversation because they were pivotal. The likes of Guy Clark and Trevor Naidu, Mohammed Badat and Candace Olivier. You know, these were the people that got together and said, this is how we're going to do it. And there's a lot of rest of world and Africa business that we gained after the original GAN. So that led us to thinking that this was the client. We've now become the preferred partner. We've become the trusted partner. And you know, Elton, the journey, as I said, has been very frustrating from an account management point of view. But I want to add, it was most fulfilling. I'll do it again at a drop of a hat, right? If I get the same results. So, right. Also, you know, when it came, and I think the whole point of this discussion today is to bring the revenue in, right? And because it was an unbespoke solution, when it went to billing, we had a complete mess. And I don't want to sugarcoat that. It's taken 4 billing audits by Linda Morgan's team, who's been exceptional in the whole drive, and many hours of pain, line by line analysis. So in order to actually implement the solution, we had to actually.
I think we're just going to ask you, and just to mute a bit there, so it's fine. You can continue, Printha.
Okay, so in order to implement the solution, we had initially 7 line items for a site, right? And through the couple of years that we've been working on this, we're now left with 3 line items that will actually give the customer a little bit of ease in respect of identifying what is bought and to make payment with the more as a conscious decision of giving money away. So in the beginning, they didn't understand how we build. And they said it was totally Greek. They paid us in the beginning, They paid us and they kept paying us. And then the one day they said, you know what, Brenda, you really need to put this right. And that is when we got hold of Linda and we got hold of Martin and we got hold of a lot of people, and we weren't ready from a systems point of view. Up until today, we're still not ready, right? But SD-WAN has become a very common word in our sales fraternity, right? Everybody's got an opportunity on SD-WAN. So it didn't stop the sales people at all. It hasn't stopped the sales arena. Yeah. So just and a little more background on the billing issue is that, you know, right now we're at a point where we've bespoke an online portal for AECI, right? With the help of, I mean, Oka is worth his weight in gold, right? And he personally did this, and we've gotten a lot of joy. They're going through all our invoices, and you know, Carol Ann and her division. We lost our credit controller to COVID while all this happened. And Carol Ann and Lizelle van der Walt just picked it up and ran with everything. So, yeah, you know, we've been through difficult times, both as a nation and as the AECI community, but we've come out of it. I'd like to think we come out of it. There's still a road to travel. And but besides the SD-WAN that we implemented for them, we layered them with OneNet Business. Right. So we sold another solution after that. And that speaks for itself in respect of the trust component and the promises that we made.
Well, look, Prenta, I love what you're saying, because especially if you've given a portal through to the customer, it's brilliant because we've met the need, right? Even though we did not have a proper bill and there was information back and forth in terms of sorting out the bill, I love what you're saying, that there was a solution that we've given to that specific customer for ACI. Can you share a little bit about what the customer's sentiment and feedback is at this point in time?
Well, listen, I think we relied a lot on our relationship, Elton. You're smiling so much there. I think you're a little bit aware. You've traveled some of the journey with me, and then you escaped, right? But yeah, so we deal with a lot of people at AECI, but the person that we really deal with, it's got a little bit of a temper, but the nicest person ever. The nicest. You know, I think our relationship has embedded us in the fact that we've just re-signed the mobile. Right. We have business coming in from them. It's become a run rate account. Okay. But having said all of that, the journey was difficult because we had to have conversations that were not in keeping with what we had promised in the beginning. So we went through little tiny steps and we had to say, you know what, guys, we've come thus far. And we need to actually just take a step back, and you need to understand why we're taking the step back. So to Tracy, that it was difficult conversations, but they've traveled the journey with us. They've traveled. And like I said, we're not over yet, you know. We still, we've convinced them about where we stand in respect of our billing platform. And we've had a multitude of meetings with them, just engaging on how to read our bill. So what have we done, Elton? We've taught the customer that don't read a bill as you know it, read a bill as we know it. And that, I think, is paramount, because they can buy a solution, but to make them read a bill like we print it is very difficult. And kudos to the billing team there.
Yeah, look, I must admit, from being the underdog, I salute you and I salute the team, and well done from Vodacom Business. It's a fantastic story to tell. I think the story about co-creation is one that's really important, and it's nice to know that the customer is part of the journey and also part of the decision-making when it comes to things like billing. So, you know, every time we sell a solution, we never know what's going to happen in the background, but it seems like the team has come together nicely, put a good, proper solution together in terms of a platform where the customer can review the information from what you're saying, and also ensure that we actually get the benefit, right? Because it's all about revenue and collecting the funds of the product that we sold, right? Yeah.
Absolutely.
So what does the future look like for AECI? I know you've mentioned a few products.
The future for AECI in respect of Vodacom, I would like to think that it's still as bright as the first day that we won the RFP, but then I'll be fooling myself because we've become vulnerable, right? And to be a salesperson, I think vulnerability is so important. We had the difficult conversations and we said we don't know everything, but
Right.
this is how we're going to do it. So we've embarked on another journey of how we're going to handle future solutions, what we're going to be doing, how we're going to future-proof them. And Alton, we're not going to be able to future-proof solutions to come. I mean, we've just embarked of moving from a telco to a techco, right? And in saying that, in order for us to move forward, we need to embrace change. And
Yes.
change will come with difficulties and challenges. But my opinion is it takes a village to raise a kid, but it took Vodacom Business to implement SD-WAN Viptela, and I stand by that.
Well done, Vodacom Business, for implementing Viptela and all the people behind you, Prentha. It's a good story. It's fantastic. But I just want to echo what William said, right? Because he mentioned things like if you hit refresh, he also mentioned things like reboot as well, right? So when you refresh, what he said was new content will emerge. And also, he said, once the new content will emerge, you get a very different experience. So just linking it back to what you said, I think you've created a wonderful experience with your customer. We are going to talk to Leanne in a bit later on just to unpack exactly the challenges that they had in terms of billing, but also what the solution looks like, so that we ensure that we give our customer satisfaction and we're constantly pushing the envelope in terms of CXX. Any last parting words from you, Prentha, on AECI before we go over through to Zianda?
No, I hope we have many, many more AECIs. I hope we sell more solutions that are not productized, right? Every salesperson needs to go through this journey. There's so much growth in it, right? And then you just want to do it again. So yes.
With all the challenges that it comes with. So yeah.
With all the challenges.
Okay. All right, so thank you so much, Prentha. I love what you said. I love the story that you told. I also would like to now just have a conversation with Zianda, specifically talking about what was sold in Buffalo City. Why is it something new that we sold in Buffalo City? Sort of unpack what the customer requirements were and what we did in the IoT space that's really, really key and instrumental to ensure that we propel and succeed in terms of our IoT sales target. All right, so Zianda, can we bring you forward and just ask your question? Can you please tell me the product that was sold to Buffalo City, and also let me know what were some of the challenges that you had?
Good afternoon, everyone, to all the viewers at home and in the office. Buffalo City. We had a requirement from Buffalo City to assist them with their revenue collection. So the basis was revenue collection because the municipality is behind with the revenue collections. The users are not paying, the ratepayers are not paying their bills, and they're estimating the billing. So smart metering came in from the Vodacom team. Even though I joined the team later, but as I joined, the train was already moving, and it's still moving very fast. We're moving very fast. So that was the requirement, and they also wanted an AG compliance because they needed accurate billing. So yes, basically, so it's AG compliance and revenue collection.
For those that don't know, can you just explain what AG is?
Auditor General, sorry, it's Auditor General. So they needed a system that's going to be approved by Auditor General that will be really accurate in assisting the municipality with revenue collection. So that's how the smart metering came about, even though at the time it was not productized. So for example, if we wanting to do a quotation for the customer, the description would be IoT business, IoT additional business. And then we have to add a line item that says maybe they wanting 20,000 smart meters. So it will have a description of 20,000 electricity or water meters. So our civil code, if we if we quoting 20,000 meters, it's
Right.
going to be pages. It's going to be like a lot of pages.
Yes.
So the customer would require just a one pager to say 20,000 smart meters, and that's their requirement.
Right.
Yeah, so just a one liner with what they want, and then they will sign. But yeah, we've had a good relationship wise with the customer. Everything is moving fast, especially with the water project. That one is that one is the bigger one than the electricity, because there's really a problem with the water. It's water scarcity as well in the province here in the Eastern Cape. And the drought, the dams are sitting at 20% even now, so they've got more water restriction, and now they're wanting people to really now look into their water bill and make sure that it's accurate. So that's how we came about with the smart metering.
Fantastic. So Ziyanda, I equally hear you talking about relationships, just as Penta has done so as well. So were we the only ones that were part of this? Were you dealing with any third parties? And then what was the engagement with the third parties? And is that a challenge, or was that a challenge? Or is it still a challenge now? If you can elaborate on that for us, please.
Okay. Yes, we do have a third party, which is the implementing partner, Microcom. At the beginning, it was just a Microcom working on the ground, with delivering with the project, and we had our project manager, yes, but we needed someone who's going to be on the ground with the implementing partners project manager. So I think that's where we got it wrong in a way there. But now we since have a program manager who's now on the ground, working with the Buffalo City team as well as the third Microcom implementing partner. So now it's better now, but in the beginning it's been a nightmare just to manage the third party, because they will go to the customer directly for whatever issues, instead of coming to, they're forgetting that they are Vodacom there. So we had that gap, but it has since now been resolved.
So look, thank you, Ziyanda. I want to allude to your bill and the issues you had around billing, especially mentioning all the pages, etc., and the customer saying, look, I just want a one-liner with the summary. Can we talk a little bit about the invoicing and how that worked out with regards to what the customer's requirements are, and basically what problems we've experienced here, as Vodacom?
Okay. With the invoicing, that's quite a...
It's a sensitive...
It's been a nightmare, but with the invoicing, how we get to invoice is every month. Okay, let me start with the quotation. Let me start from the quotation we submit, and then it's signed. So a customer then we do the order with the TAs, we capture the order, and each solution ID, each order has solution IDs for the meters. So each order will have, for electricity, it's 100 in 100 batches, and then for water is in 500 batches. So you can imagine, if you say you want 20,000 meters, and then the code and the TAs will have to capture the 20,000, but in batches. So now the third party will get their PO as well, so that we then get to implement on the ground. And then and at the end of the month, then even though the order is for 30,000, we can only bill what has been installed and signed off. So at the end of the month, if they did 2,000 meters that month, I have to then do a manual invoice where it's a one-liner to say we've done 2,000 this month. These are the COC numbers, the certificate for each meter batches, and then this is the amount.
Sure.
So each month it adds on per installation. So it grows quicker and quicker. For example, now for water, I mean, we're sitting over 98,000 meters already, going to 100. Soon we're gonna clock 100 like in no time.
Yeah.
So we do that, and now having that one liner, and then we submit it to the customer.
All right.
And then the customer will then process payments. But if there's technicalities with the projects, let's say that specific month, then they will delay the payments because we need to fix this and that. And another issue that another thing that we've also picked up, if a meter is captured as a 36 months
Sure.
of the system, now when that 36 months comes to an end, we can only build the services. The hardware has to fall away. But now the system, there's no way for it to know, I'm up with the hardware. I can only continue with the services. So that's another way to do manually, is to now go back and say, these meters are at the end of their 36 months on the hardware, and we can only now bill the services thereof. So that's another thing we have to look into, that our system doesn't quickly, pick up. So the project team, the IoT team we have to keep checking and checking those meters that are outside of the 36 months. So sometimes, there's a lot that can make the customer delay payments because, some things will be picked up as we go. And so the manual billing and the system billing may not necessarily correspond because of that. We bill manually as we install. Yes, yes. Until the IoT billing team, then when the batch of 500 for water or the batch of 100 for electricity is complete, then they push for billing. So it's every batch. It's in batches of 500 for water and 100 for electricity. So that's how the billing, it's quite a process, because I have to sit with the credit controller and the program manager now, since she's joined. Yes. And then we have to make sure that, okay, the invoice, we've done so many meters this month. These are the COC numbers. So it's quite an exercise that we have to do manually.
So Ziyanda, what I understand you're saying is that there's a reconciliation that needs to happen between ourselves internally and also checking in with the customer with regards to payments, etc. Right?
Yes, yes, correct.
So what would excellence look like for you? What is it that you would like to see in the future, Ziyanda?
In future, it's simple. The requirement from the customer, they want an invoice summarized. For this month, you've done so many meters. These are the COC numbers. Our system currently will give you all the solution IDs, the description. So it will be a lot of pages if the system generated invoice. Yep. So we need then to twist the system or design something, a template for billing for such a complex project, because this is a complex project and there's a lot of detail that is needed also. So I think going forward, we will need, if the customer, we can always change our system or try and find a way to meet the customer halfway to make sure that we meet up with their requirement. Right. Because it might work for us, but we need something that will work for the customer. This is about the customer, not us.
Absolutely.
So we need to find ways to make sure that if I've got a requirement from a customer, I'm sure we've got intelligent people in the organization. I'm sure we can come up with something. We will code it if we have to, but we have to come up with something.
Now, Ziyanda, thank you so much for that. So for me, it's quite simple. It seems like we need to have a meeting of the minds with regards to the boffins from a systems perspective, but it also sounds like it's a bit archaic with this specific customer because it's actually a physical document that needs to go to the customer. They need to sign, and then there's a process that happens internally before we receive payment. So I think just to talk about this, is there anything that you would like to mention before we sort of have a chat to Leanne Martin? Is there anything you'd like to say? Just your experience now on selling this IoT solution. I know it has been a challenge, and you've also mentioned that you've worked with a myriad of people within the organization. But for the other account managers that are watching and the ones that are just a little bit nervous about IoT, should they dip their toes into this? Should they do this?
To be honest, I'm actually quite excited to have been part of the team. This was something new for me, and I was even though I didn't have much background on it when I joined, but I quickly moved the team. I've got a great team, so you learn as you go. And fortunately for us, what we want to do is we want to make Buffalo City a success. We want Buffalo City to go all around the country and say, we've got a working solution from Vodacom. Vodacom is our partner. We're partners with Vodacom. And we're still gonna get more business out of that. I mean, if Buffalo City is happy, in all the other metros and other Munichs will join in on this working solution. I mean, we're also looking at other businesses. We're also going to expand the business with the Buffalo City as well. So we need something that is working and make sure that we put them as the customer first. We really need to,
Just one last question from me. Have we deployed everything? Is there still more to come in the pipeline that we need to deploy on the ground? Can you give us a figure on that?
Currently, there is a pipeline of additional meters, looking at about 80,000 meters yet to be ordered, because the Buffalo City Metro, it's quite a serious problem that they're facing now with the water meter reading. So it's something in the pipeline. So we are still looking into more business, and I mean, we have a nice relationship besides now the technicalities of the project, but we are really their go-to business partner on the smart metering, and they're gonna be our reference, if I can put it that way. They're going to be our reference, and we've got a great project team from the Vodacom side, and also from the implementing partner side, and also the Buffalo City. I mean, we've become one. I mean, it's three separate units, but coming to one. But there's still more business to come, definitely.
Yeah. Look, thank you. It's a good story to tell. We're going to talk a little about billing, but before we get there, thanks, Oyanda. I just want to cross over through to Prenta. There is a question around AECI, Prenta. So the question is, when you are selling a solution, are the risks identified upfront, especially if it hasn't been productized?
Yes, we did call out risks on this project, and we co-created, even though it was, and thank you for the question to who asked it. We co-created, and to co-create within an RFP is very difficult. But our coach inside of AECI was so open while we co-created. As I said, we took it away from an MPLS offering and showed them what an intelligent network can do. And of course, they bought it, right? During the process, they bought it in the clarification. And I want to call out, it was Naval, Eugene, and Aubrey Ramaphosa that did this, right? And they reconstructed this RFP. And when we reconstructed it, I was actually overseas, and I was asked to attend a clarification session on the phone. And they just said, can you deliver? In the clarification session, they said, can you deliver? And everybody was quiet. And I said, of course we can deliver. Right? So, it's a two-pronged question. We called out risks, but there were more risks to be experienced as we went along. Listen, we could deliver the solution.
Right.
The risks that I'm talking about is totally internal. It is the process and the systems, right? Always remember, in respect of connectivity, and I always go back to this, in the Gartner quadrant, we are number one. Use it. You know, I respect the Gartner quadrant to such a great level. So if Vodafone is saying we're number one at connectivity, and I tell the client, no, I can't deliver. Whatever's going to happen internally, it's like a family. We will sort it out internally, and we've done that. Yeah.
Awesome.
So
thanks so much, Prenta. There is one question that came up. Thanks, Prenta. That was a fantastic answer. Thank you so much. There is a question that came up for Ziyanda. Ziyanda, if we can just pull you up, if you don't mind, yeah?
Okay.
With regards to mitigating billing errors, what can we do upfront to establish that we are committed to ensure that the customer's problems are resolved from a billing perspective?
Whoa, that one. That one. This is not my question alone. It's with different business units. So there's sales, there's IoT team, and then there's billing. So it's a collaboration there. But I think going forward, just to minimize maybe the manual intervention, is to get it right from the start.
Sure.
Just get it right from the start. Make sure everything is productized properly,
Right.
and then maybe look at a new process of pushing things for billing so that it's automated first time.
Sure.
I think there could be a way. It just needs all the business units to come together and come up with another angle now, another way to make sure that when we doing the project from the start, we get it right. We get it right from the beginning.
Thank you, Ziyanda. And on that note of getting things right, we would just like to welcome in sort of Leanne. And Leanne is the champion for Center of Excellence, right? Specifically around billing, to talk about these billing issues, especially when it's a bespoke solution. How do we come together and ensure that the customer is satisfied? What do we do from a billing perspective? And how do we lean in and work with the account managers to make sure that once we do submit an invoice, that is correct, the customer is happy to receive it, and also then obviously initiates the payment on the customer's end. So thank you so much, Ziyanda and Prenta. I think let's just pull Leanne in now, if you don't mind, Lebo. Let's get her in, yeah?
All right, we'll get Leanne now in a few moments, but what I want to do is just read a few comments here as the guys are listening to your wonderful conversation, Elton. Obviously, Ellen is saying, go Elton. We've got someone dialing in from Tsutsumane in Alexandra. And then, and then we've also got Susan who says, Prenta, you go girl. And then Susan also comes back and says, Rodney Moloko's team is shining once again. And then such an important discussion, Alice Togozile says. And then there's a beautiful comment here that says, well done, Prenta, hashtag solution selling, hashtag bring in the money. But Mpo goes a little deeper. Mpo says, it is clear we are moving from solution to bidding. We're missing simulating the client experience activities such as billing and self-service before we bid to see if they work. So really great comments coming in right here. Even Nomonde says, well done, Vodacom Business, for being instrumental in ensuring that our water in South Africa can be distributed and billed with proper metering. Great system there, Ziyanda. And Ziyanda, you're getting, everyone is just saying, well done, Ziyanda. Linda Moss is saying, yes, Z, Eastern Cape. And I'm sure even more people are saying, good job to Ziyanda representing the Eastern Cape. And then Tebucho has one last comment that says, it also causes lengthy exercise for reconciling the account and potentially audit queries. So really quite, guys are really enjoying this conversation, Elton. And it looks like we might need to carry on these conversations going forward just to allow everybody to understand what happens in the background.
Absolutely fantastic. So thanks everybody for all those comments. I like the comments with regards to auditing because it does affect us and it also affects how our customers perform as well. Yeah. So I think just on that note, Lebo, maybe let's talk to the person behind the scenes that's been helping the account managers. So let's bring in Leanne and let's have a conversation with her around the solutions that she proposed and what we can look forward to also in the future. Yeah.
Yeah, I need to check if Leanne is back because she is just coming through. But before we get to Leanne, because we're just still waiting for her, I just want to find out from you, because obviously I'm in the CBU space and I think everybody else is in the CBU space. So there's so much going on, obviously, with the Vodacom business, and obviously there's the public space, and then there is the private, and then there's the IoT that we are talking about right now. But what do you guys mean when you say something is not productized? Because obviously all of us here that are in CBU, everything is a product that we sell. But from a Vodacom business perspective, what does it mean when something is not productized?
That is such an important question that you asked, because if something is not, so let me just explain it quite simply, right? When you go into a store, when you purchase something in any single store that you go into, it has a barcode, it has a product code, it has a look and feel, you know the features, you know the benefits, you know what you're going to receive when you purchase that specific product. It even has a price, right? And when you check out, you also pay for it happily, and then you get your little slip and you get your invoice and you're happy with that, right? So if something is on the shelf and it is not productized, we then have people that are running around trying to figure out, number one, what is the code, because it's not on the system. And number two, you've got to wait now because you're standing in the queue while somebody else is trying to fix and try and figure out how is it that we've just missed this product. And number three, they don't even know sometimes what the price of the product is, because either that has just been thrown there or it's brand spanking new and somebody has just put it on the shelf, and there you come as a consumer and you absorb that specific product. If you shift that analogy and you move it over through to Vodacom Business is always at the cutting edge of ensuring that we bring in new products, new services, because our customers push us to those specific boundaries. And when we have that new conversation with customers, we now have a situation where we've got a product that does not have an actual product code. It does not have a code on the system. And you must remember, once a code is put on the system, it literally unpacks everything else. So once the code is on the system, the look and feel is there, the features and benefits are there, whatever needs to be invoiced correctly is there, and it's simple. All we do is when the account managers come through, they say, okay, VIP teller, something I need to sell. They add it in with all the components of any other additional product codes, and then we create a suite or a basket, and then we punch that out, and we say to Mr. Customer, there's your invoice, there you go, are you happy? Customer says, yes, absolutely. So now
it makes so much sense.
Now, if there's no product code, unfortunately, it affects the run cycle, where we now have challenges where we manually need to run around and produce an invoice for the specific customer.
Thank you so much, Elton. Well, let's waste no more time. Leanne is back. Let's get her back online for your chat with her. Leanne, how you doing?
Hi, Leanne. So we can hear you. Can you hear me? Can't hear me. So Leanne is a bit frozen there, and I can see she's frozen on my side, so she's having issues. Are you back, Leanne?
Yes, I can hear you now, Elton. Thank you. I'm praying, we're hotspotting, we're praying and crossing fingers that Bitco moves away. Yes.
I'm going to cross fingers as well. So let's get into it, right? So let's talk about the two scenarios. We've had a beautiful conversation with Prent around ACI. We also had a conversation with Zianda around Buffalo City. Can we talk a little bit about those scenarios? What's been happening in the billing space? How have you supported these two individuals? And so let's start there with your support in billing, and then we'll take it from there.
Right, thank you. Good afternoon, colleagues. And I must congratulate our esteemed sales colleagues. They can do the proverbial thing and sell ice to Eskimos in winter, and well done on that. So I have a lot of faith in their ability to sell what's on the table, what's productized and what's not productized. We've seen that from both scenarios.
Yes.
Which leads us to the billing challenge. So the billing challenge came to us, and when Prentha raised it as an issue, she doesn't panic as a seasoned sales professional, so it was an anomaly. But we took it very seriously, and we have, I'm confident, the Vodacom Business billing team that is 100% solid, multi-skilled, and from the moment that the sales order comes in, from the order capture team through to credit and risk, down through to the PMO, and back into the billing space, the minute we have a CPP agreed to, we're good to go. So you give us an account number, you give us a product that's listed in CBIL, has a price, we'll bill it 100% as you give it through to us. So what went wrong in the scenario? And I'm going to just quickly summarize it. So when Okur and his team, and Okur is, magnificent, as Prentha and Ziyanda have said, in his role as the billing manager, and he put together a team of equally seasoned, excellent people in the form. And I'm going to name drop because most of our colleagues do know who they are. So Jermaine van Wyk, and we have Happy Mahoba that supported him quite ably. They had people from the products team that came in. We had Candice from PMO, Aubrey, and Nomfusi that also supported as soon as we became aware that there was a billing issue. So what happened was that, as Prentha has alluded to, we've had SD-WAN, which came in as a service that we were eager to take to market. We had not had all of these checks and balances in place, and that's quite frankly what happened. So there was a solution that was sold that at the final end of the customer journey, what was known to the customer in terms of the SD-WAN service, he wasn't expecting to have two solutions that he was paying for. So when it appeared on his invoice to him, it looked as though this is not what I contractually signed for, and why should I have to pay for that? And he's quite right about that. But from what we know behind the scenes technically, excuse me, we had, it was a tailor-made bespoke service, which we put together. Second to that, historically, as sites were cancelled, one component of the service was cancelled, either the connect component, and the accessory, the router side of things was not, so it continued to go. And Ziyanda explained to us just now at what great pains this comes at, to have to go in and ensure that you're cancelling both services. So we also spoke about the fact that we're moving from a telco to a techco. And so these systems that we have as they stand are what they are. Yeah. But that does not mean to say in any way, Alton, that we have not innovated as billing. So we have had several changes and positive moves happen in the past year or so. We've had a few customers, and I'm going to just short circuit both scenarios in detail because I think the sales colleagues have taken us through the pains of it. So what we've done is that we've taken case studies from 3 customers that have been talking to us, and I'm going to name them because I'm sure in our audience we have our account teams that are sitting there, our projects office that have supported us through this. We've had AMPAC, we've had AECR, and we've had Imperial Holdings, which have caused a lot of questions being asked of why is billing incorrect and why is it in such a mess. And in actual fact, it's not. So what these customers have asked of us is a special and a bespoke type of invoicing and billing mechanism. Wow. Now, what we also know as business is that we cannot go around assuming that our billing engine or what we've got in place can fit everyone's requirement. So we've taken these customers.
Can I break your word? Because I know somebody's going to ask this question. Is it applicable to all customers in the future, or is it just the ones that we're trialing for now, which is the customers that you had mentioned?
So for now, we're trialing it. But my colleague Vanessa Hugo and I have been on a little bit of an investigation with our sales teams around the country, and we've been showing them this. So Okur and Vanessa have worked very hard on this, and we're showing them that this is what we can deliver to your customers. In the journey of becoming digitized, we want to set this customer free. We want to enable him with his own digital tools, that he doesn't come back to us and say, reproduce this for me, I want this in this format and that in that format. Although we are giving them that in many different formats. And I'd like, after this session, that we are going to continue to engage our sales colleagues and the rest of our business organization and show them a view of what we have got available on the portal. We took our credit and risk colleagues through it yesterday, and they were quite comfortable with the fact that we are moving ahead and that we have got the ability to bring on a lot more customers, to be able to actually self-service access the portal and to be able to draw some of the data from there. So yeah, we have moved. We're totally committed and passionate about delivering this beyond expectations service to our customers. We want to build the same trust. We are building the trust and the loyalty. And as our sales colleagues have said, we want to ensure that the customer is so embedded with us that we build him with all of the different stacks and the layers of products that he needs. And I dare say sometimes he doesn't, but we will make sure that we create that niche so that he does get it, and that he remains a loyal and becomes an advocate for us in the journey.
Fantastic. Leanne, it sounds like you're on top of things, and it sounds like we put in a solution that'll benefit not only this customer, but more customers to come. One of the questions that has been asked here is, Prentha touched on a client not understanding our billing invoice. What plans are in place to accommodate some of the specialized requests from our larger VGE customers? And I think you kind of touched on it, right? You touched on the fact that we are in the incubation stages of ensuring that what we're putting out to customers as per required, be a bespoke billing, is fit for purpose. Can you just elaborate just a little bit more so that the person that had answered that question can get a better understanding?
Sorry, Elton. So it's what are we doing for our top 150 customers? Can I rather show than speak? And I would like us to, and we are doing this as part of exposing this to the sales teams. We would like to show them exactly what we're doing, and if this is something that's applicable that your customer is going to need, you need to come back to us and say, this is what we'd like, and we'll deliver to it. It's still in its piloting stage, so there are still lots of roads to still walk, but we're walking this journey with our customers. And as I say, I've given you the example of 3 of our top 150 customers that we're walking this journey with.
Awesome, that's fantastic.
So my answer is let's show you rather than me tell you.
No, I love it. I love the fact that we can show the fruits of our labor and what we're doing, right, to make a difference, especially when we're creating moments that matter with the customers. Leanne, is there anything you'd like to mention before I just wrap up on my end? Is there anything you'd like to comment on from a center of excellence perspective?
Yes, so we do have a billing center of excellence that we're building in Vodacom Business Billing. I think that our colleagues are aware of it. We have got specialized billing specialists that are multi-skilled, cross-skilled, that are able to assist. So in the past, we had very dedicated people handling specific accounts. Now we've scaled our teams up so that they're able to handle whatever comes their way. We've got closer turnaround times from an order capture perspective. And Shirlise, we have in our ear, many of our teams already know about her and the great work that her teams are doing. Even there, we've done for the SD-WAN service, for instance, that gave us the whole headache at the beginning. We've got a master, Shirlise has now got a master checklist in place so that we tick, and we make sure that everything's in place with regards to that, yes.
Leanne, thank you so much for your time. Yes, you want to add something?
Sorry, Elton, I just want to add one final piece here. That billing comes in at the tail end after our colleagues have sold, after we've prospected, after we've set up the solution. And what we'd like to see happen in the future, that especially with these complex solutions, we'd like to see a proper collaboration as we have in these 2 scenarios. So let's get together. Let's not, we all have the desire to make sure that we are wowing our customers, that we're creating this trust and this loyalty. There's enough competition out there. We don't want to be competition to one another. Let's hold hands together. Let's journey together with the customers, with what the customer wants, putting at the heart of things. But also let's be realistic about what our business systems and processes can deliver before we go to market. Let's not do things in the old-fashioned way of working in silos and having an arrangement where we're agreeing on a commercial discount, and at the end of the day, when billing comes in to bill that, there's no discount applied because we don't know about it. Right. And likewise, if we're canceling something, we have no ability to cancel. A customer has to trigger that. Trigger it correctly. Let's work together. If there's anything unknown, we have a team that is ready, passionate, and available to support. So that's me. I'd like to hand over now back to you, Otulebo. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Leanne. You couldn't have said it, so much better. So just to wrap this up, I just want to say thank you so much to all the panelists that we've interviewed today, and also just to talk about that guacamole in the beginning. Sometimes you want something extra, right, in your guacamole, and I prefer having either more onion or more tomato, whatever the case may be in my guac. So that's the same for customers. They want something extra. They will push the boundary. They will make sure that whatever they need, even if we don't sell it as a product set, we can create it and we can design it. And even if we're an underdog, it's okay. We will be the ones cementing the relationship, and we will then come out shining on top. So it talks about a story of further together. It talks about a story of collaboration between the organization, and talks about cementing the relationships that we have, which is key and pivotal for our customers. And as it was said by William, ignite a movement to exceed our customers' expectation to create moments that matter. So thank you so much. And Lebo, back to you. And I would just like to say thanks so much for having me on to interview the team as well. It's been awesome. It's been fantastic.
Thank you so much, Alton. I think we definitely need to have you back here when we do another VB Fix-Up Forum, because it's so popular. People are enjoying the discussions, and I think it's just lit a light bulb in most of, just like me, when you spoke about productization, as to what happens in the big world of Vodacom business. So thank you so much for enlightening us, and a big thank you to Leanne. Thank you, Ziyanda, and Prentha. Thank you so much. And I can see Prentha is right there going towards leadership, because she has a bookcase, a book stand, just like William at the back. So you can see that leadership does the same. William, don't worry. Behind this banner is a bookcase. I just need to visit you so I can take a few books. But thank you so much to those at home. Still reading some of your comments right here. Tebe says, at Leanne, at Hugo, Vanessa, thank you for the excellent work that you're doing for our customers by creating bespoke billing requirements. And Helena says it is that after service that is making the difference, like billing. I remember Balesh yesterday at the Long Service Awards also mentioned that, all the other networks are also selling some of the same products that we have. What sets us apart is the people in the business, like Leanne, Prentha, Ziyanda, Alton, that actually, set the wheels in motion to make sure that the customer gets world-class, legendary customer experience. And that's the Vodacom way, right? We want to make sure that our customers are happy all the time. But right now, I'd like to turn your attention back to William. But before I do that, please note that if you go back there on the chat and you go after the questions, you will see our survey just for you to help us, and tell us how you thought this session is and how we can improve going forward. But for now, let's go back to our Mphathi from Vodacom Business, William. Hi, William.
Hi, Lebo.
William, you've got a very well-oiled machine here with all the employees that you have under Vodacom Business talking about how, customer experience is actually, a team goal. When you made that commitment about moments that matter, you were definitely not playing around.
Indeed. I think that what I have to start by saying is acknowledging just the sheer grit of our people. The resilience and the relentlessness that our people have in solving for our customers. As you have heard throughout the conversation, we have had challenges. We have had customer that escalated. In fact, what was missed in the conversation is that the AECI issues got escalated up to our group CEO. And at some point, we were almost going to get thrown out of AECI, which would have been the worst day of Vodacom Business. And we turned it around because we were able to galvanize just the latent spirit of Vodacomers to say, this too we can solve for. And indeed, we solved for it. And we have been rewarded with an extension and a lot more sites given to us by AECI, because they recognize that there shall be problems and challenges. It is about the resilience and the commitment of the people and their passion to resolve the problems, which is what we did. So that brings me to the start of the conversation. level where I said we have to be resourceful in everything that we do. And you have indeed heard the resourcefulness of our people, despite all the reams and reams of paper that they have to go through to be able to generate the bill, reams and reams of lines of, inputs they have to put into the system to be able to generate a service request, just because our systems aren't yet ready for being the tech core that we aspire to be. So we are moving ahead, we are the pioneers. And I also like to say that, just before any groundbreaking idea or breakthrough happens, it starts just being an idea. And that's exactly what we are doing. We are pioneering. We are in the bleeding edge. And it will mean that at times we are going to bleed, just as the statement says. And we need to have the courage and the resilience and the grit to get up and be response able.
I like how you've put it there. Responsible, but responsible. Yeah. And your words when you said it's a movement. And when you talk about it's a movement, it means everybody can put their hands up, and it starts with one courageous person. And looking at everything and everybody here speaking about, how grateful they are that we had this conversation, it means the whole entire red team is saying we are all in, William. Let me give you a few minutes just to summarize and close for us.
Thank you, Lebo. So I have to say that to the team that pulled this all together, thank you very much for doing so and for choosing, I think, the most difficult part of what we are grappling with today, which is being able to transform Vodacom Business from a enterprise business that is been successful in delivering mobile-related solutions into a more diversified Vodacom Business that is focusing on digitizing our clients' business and transforming their businesses. And we are transforming ourselves as we transform our clients' environment. We have the greatest asset, and we have got the greatest endowment as Vodacom, because we have a brand that is meaningful, that is purpose-focused, and we have men and women capable of innovating, even in the most difficult of all times. And I do believe that we are going to get it right. It is going to feel a bit painful as we undergo this journey and at the start of our movement, but I think that the rewards are going to be very great for all of us. So as I close, I just want to go back to the pledge that we have made. And I would like to just remind everyone that what we are working towards is absolutely being intolerant to leaving customer issues unresolved. As you heard, the team has been relentless. Ziyanda did not really give you all the gory details about how painful what she explained has been, because here the story goes that, we had sold to these municipalities the ability to help them be able to solve their biggest billing issues. And here we are struggling with providing them with a simple bill. And so you could ask yourself the question that, how can you help me solve my problem when you seem to have your own problems? And that was not what was going to weigh them down and discourage them from being on this uncharted waters and territory, but still being steadfast on the North Star. So they've been very intolerant of failure, but also being intolerant of leaving customers' issues unresolved. The second is around the being attuned and being deliberate and being unwavering and always never resting until we have addressed the issue that the customer has in the fullness of what is expected of a Vodacom person and what the customer expects of us. And how do we do that? We have to orchestrate all of Vodacom's people, the processes, the systems, to solving even for the smallest to the biggest issues. But here's the thing, with an equal sense of agency. Because at the time when a customer calls or customer has an issue, to us, it may look like a very small issue, but to the customer, it's a big issue. That is the reason why they have taken the pain to call us or to want to make an engagement with us. Our services are critical services. We have learned and we've experienced it during COVID. If otherwise we had become complacent around how critical what we do is. It's the lifeblood of the economy, and at times it's what stands between families from being able to transmit that very important message that could be life-saving or that could be very, very critical. We have to solve for any customer, irrespective of the size of the customer, their stature, or proximity to power. Not because it's William who knows the group CEO or who knows the MD of VSA or who works for Vodacom. We've got to solve for even a customer who spends $20 with us a month, because that customer with that $20 and many more other customers is what defines the service we offer. We are here to serve. Therefore, we have to treat every customer, as I said, like a relative we don't yet know. And that I was taught many years ago that is a definition of a stranger. And if you knew that that customer on the other end was your relative, your mood, your posture would indeed change. So as you engage with every customer, have that in mind, knowing that as we occupy 52% market share today, out of every 100 people that you meet, 52 of those are potentially your customer. So our responsibility has become even much larger in every part of what we do, every day and every time, as our service is demanded every minute, and as we become an anywhere, every time connected society on the Vodacom brand. So I thank you all for all the good work you have done and continue to do. And I say, let's do it with a lot of empathy and bring about resourcefulness every day to what we do. And this movement will truly become a catalytic force to exceeding our customers' expectations. So with those few words, I really want to thank you, Pearl and your team, for being our ambassador for the Moments That Matter and pulling this together, and to our team under Valdi's leadership for bringing together the Center of Excellence on Billing, because we will not rest until we are able to solve all the issues that plague us today, irrespective of whether we are going to have those shiny toys and tools called systems. We will hold it together just with our sheer determination. Thank you.
Here's how Vodacom Business has participated in facing the challenges presented by a global pandemic. We've invested in faster network speeds to improve efficiency in the remote workspace. Business owners now get more value on monthly data since our promotional bundles became permanent. Local government services are now digitized, making addressing of queries seamless. Police can now be alerted instantly for rapid response to crime. We've also enabled teachers and students with technology to improve educational sectors. locals are able to find useful information with direct access to healthcare providers on the Mpilo app. More than 1 million South Africans have registered to assess their health on platforms we helped create. Efficient supply chain management has also resulted in over 27 million stock level reports. We've since donated 20,000 mobile devices, including 100 terabytes of data and 10,000 voice minutes to be used by medical staff. As businesses reopen and workers go back to work, our Vodacom social distancing monitoring, Vodacom thermal scanner, and Vodacom PPE monitoring solutions help offices stand up to the challenge. Learners, teachers, and schools benefit from our connected digital education solution in partnership with Microsoft, with further capability and tools available at Vodacom Broadcasting Centers. Get in touch with us for any information related to our platforms. More together through smart technology solutions. Stay connected to SA's leading network. Vodacom Business.